Good morning, class. So today we will be discussing chapter 14, the supply chain issues. Okay? So now I know when you hear supply chain, you might think that's more of a logistic topic. Okay? But here is the thing. In project management, your suppliers can make or break your project. Now, let me give you an example that we will follow throughout our discussion today. Okay? So, you all remember the hypothetical case we discussed before, the Metro Manila General Hospital and their Hospital Information System project. That is the one led by Dr. Medina. Okay? So now, that was not just an IT project. Think about all the parties involved in that project. You had the Tech Health Solutions as the main vendor providing the HIS software, but that is not all they needed. Okay, they actually needed hardware suppliers for the servers and computers, network infrastructure providers, the training consultants, the data migration specialists, and even security testing firms. Okay? So each of these is part of the supply chain. Now, remember what happened? The Tech Health Solutions, which is the main vendor, actually failed to deliver the key modules on time. So Jake Smith, their project manager, cited unforeseen complexities. Now, that one supplier's delay created a ripple effect on the entire implementation schedule. So the IT team could not proceed with testing. The training sessions had to be rescheduled, and the whole project timeline got pushed back. Okay? So that is what supply chain management is all about. So it is making sure everyone who provides something for your project delivers what they promise when they promise it and at the quality you need. So today we have 5 learning objectives. We are going to understand why managing suppliers is crucial, how the approach to working with them has evolved, the different types of relationships and contracts, and we will also compare adversarial versus partnership approaches. And finally, we will distinguish between internal and external suppliers. So by the end of today's discussion, you will see why project managers lose sleep over their supply chains. Okay? So now let's look at our learning objectives in detail. All right, so here are our 5 learning objectives for today. Let me walk you through what we will be covering, okay? So the learning objective 1, we have to identify the role of the supply chain in project management and its importance in ensuring project success. So basically, we will understand how all the suppliers and partners need to work together and why that actually matters. Our second learning objective is we have to discuss the evolution of the approaches to the provision of bought-in products and services from purchasing to the current state of supply chain management. And we will see how things have changed from simply buying stuff to managing complex relationships with suppliers. And the third learning objective is we will describe the nature of the supply chain relationships and contracts that can exist. So there are different ways to work with suppliers, and we will explore those options. And the fourth learning objective is we will differentiate adversarial versus partnership approaches. So this is interesting, okay? Because do you treat suppliers as opponents in a negotiation or as partners working toward the same goal? Okay? And finally, our learning objective 5 is we have to define internal suppliers and our external suppliers. Okay? So not all suppliers come from outside your organization, and we will clarify that distinction. So throughout our discussion, I will keep referring back to the Metro Manila General Hospital HIS Hypothetical Scenario Project so you can see these concepts in action. Okay? So let's get ready and let's start with learning objective 1. So let's break down our first learning objective. So the goal here is straightforward: to understand how all the different suppliers and partners involved in a project together and why this teamwork is crucial for the project to succeed. Now, let us look at our example from the Metro Manila General Hospital Information System hypothetical scenario. So the Hospital Information System project actually involved multiple parties working together. Okay? So you had the hospital staff, the doctors, the nurses, and the administrative personnel. And you had the IT professionals from MMGH own IT department, or commonly called the in-house team. And critically, you had the software vendor, which is the Tech Health Solutions. But I want you to think about it. It was not just Tech Health Solutions, right? To implement a hospital information system, you would also need hardware suppliers for servers and computers, network infrastructure providers to set up the connectivity, and possibly training consultants to help with staff adoption, the data records from the old system, and security testing firms. So remember, they did a penetration test that revealed vulnerabilities. So the success of that project depended on how well these different groups collaborated. And here is the key point on the slide. Okay, look at the slide. When Tech Health Solutions failed to deliver key modules on time, it caused delays in the entire project. So this shows how important each link in the supply chain is. So I want you to think about the domino effect. Okay? So when Tech Health Solutions was late with the modules, what happened? The IT team could not proceed with integration testing, right? So the training sessions for staff had to be postponed because you cannot train people on software that is not ready yet. Now, the data migration got delayed as well. So everything downstream got affected. That is why a project is only as strong as its weakest link in the supply chain. Now, one supplier fails and the whole chain can break down. Okay? Now, this brings us to an important question. How did we get to this understanding of managing suppliers? That was not always the case. Okay? So let's move to learning objective 2. talk about how the approach to working with suppliers has evolved over time. So the goal here is to understand how buying things for projects has changed, moving from simply purchasing staff to managing complex relationships with suppliers. Now let me explain this with our MMGH example. So while the case doesn't explicitly mention this, we can infer that MMGH likely started with a simple purchasing approach. So what does that mean? Well, traditionally, hospitals would just buy software, okay? You'd have a purchasing department that would say, okay, we need a hospital information system. Well, let us find a vendor, negotiate the price, sign a contract, and buy it. Okay? Very transactional, right? Very simple. You pay, they deliver the product, done. But that's not what happened with MMGH, right? They are not just buying software from Tech Health Solutions and calling it a day. Look at what's actually happening. They are working closely with Tech Health Solutions to customize the system. So they need the vendor to integrate the hospital information system with their existing laboratory information system, with their pharmacy inventory system. So they need ongoing collaboration because the IT team had to communicate requirements to the vendor. Now the vendor had to understand MMGH specific workflows. They had to do testing together, data migration together. So this is the more complex supply chain management approach. It is not just a one-time purchase anymore, okay? It is actually an ongoing relationship that requires continuous collaboration and management. So MMGH and Tech Health Solutions have to work together throughout the entire 18-month project timeline and maybe even beyond that for maintenance and updates. So the shift from just purchasing to supply chain management reflects how projects have become more complex. So you cannot just buy things off the shelf anymore. You need customization, integration, and ongoing support. And that requires a different kind of relationship with suppliers. But here is the thing. Not all supplier relationships are the same, okay? There are different types of relationships and contracts that can exist. And let's look at that with the next learning objective. So now we understand that supply chain management is about relationships, okay? Not just transactions. But what kind of relationships can exist between a project organization and its suppliers? So the goal here is to understand the different ways companies can work with the suppliers, from simple buyer-seller relationships to close partnerships, and how these relationships are formalized in contracts. Okay? So let us look at our MMGH example. The relationship between Metro Manila General Hospital and the Tech Health Solutions appear to be more of a partnership than a simple buyer-seller relationship. So what do I mean by that? They are actually working together to customize the hospital information system for MMGH specific needs. So it is not like MMGH just bought software off the shelf, okay? So Tech Health Solutions had to understand the existing or the hospital's workflows, integrate with existing systems, customize modules based on what the doctors and the nurses needed. And that requires close collaboration. So, lots of back and forth communication. It is actually a joint problem, solving, working together toward a common goal. But here's where it gets interesting, okay? When tech health solutions fail to deliver on time, citing unforeseen complexities, what does that tell us? Okay, what do you think? Well, it actually suggests that the contract might not have been clear enough about responsibilities and timelines. Who bears the risk when they are, and who will bear the risk when there are unforeseen complexities? What are the penalties for late delivery? What exactly constitutes on time? When you say on time, what exactly is that? And these should all be spelled out in the contract in detail. Okay? So these highlights the importance of well-defined contracts in supply chain relationships, especially for complex projects like implementing a hospital-wide information system. Now, you can have a partnership approach, working together, collaborating closely, but you still need a solid contract that clearly defines expectations, deliverables, timelines, responsibilities, and what happens when things go wrong. Okay? So, but here is the reality. Even in partnerships, things can go wrong. And when they do, you need the contract to fall back on. Now, this brings us to an important distinction in how we approach these supplier relationships. Are we treating them as adversaries or as partners? Okay, so let's talk about that. Alright, so we have talked about relationships and contracts. Now, let us get into the mindset behind these relationships. So, there are basically two opposite approaches you can take when dealing with suppliers. You have adversarial or the partnership. Now, let us start with adversarial. An adversarial relationship in business is characterized by a competitive zero-sum mindset where each party prioritizes its own interests at the expense of the other. Okay? Take note of that. It prioritizes its own interests at the expense of the other. So what does zero-sum mean? Well, it means if I win, you lose. If you win, I lose. So there is no mutual benefit in there. We are fighting over the same pie. Okay? So this approach is often seen in transactional, short-term interactions where immediate gains are prioritized over long-term collaboration. Now, you are just focused on getting the best deal right now, not on building a relationship for the future. So, in such relationships, there's typically a lack of trust and limited information sharing between parties involved. I want you to think about it. If I do not trust you, I'm not going to tell you everything, right? I'm going to hold my cards close to my chest so each side aims to maximize its own benefits, often through hard bargaining tactics. So, the classic negotiation where you are trying to squeeze every last peso out of the deal, and the supplier is trying to charge you as much as possible. So this can lead to a focus on contract enforcement rather than mutual problem solving. So when something goes wrong, instead of sitting down together to figure out a solution, you pull out the contract and say, see, Section 5, paragraph 3, you are supposed to do this, but you didn't. Now you pay the penalty. Okay? So that's the kind of adversarial relationship. Now, think about the Metro Manila General Hospital hypothetical scenario. If MMGH had taken a purely adversarial approach with Tech Health Solutions, what would have happened when the modules were delayed? Okay, what do you think? Well, they probably would have immediately invoked penalty clauses, threatened legal action, maybe even tried to switch vendors mid-project. Okay? So, would that have helped finish the project? Well, probably not. It would have made things worse. Okay? But there's another way to approach supplier relationships. Now, let's look at the partnership approach. So the complete opposite of adversarial relationship is the partnership approach. So a partnership relationship in business is characterized by a collaborative win-win approach where both parties align their interests towards mutual long-term success. Now, have you noticed the difference? Well, it is not I win, you lose. Okay? It's not like that anymore. It is we both win together. Now, this model is typically employed in strategic, ongoing interaction where sustained value creation is the primary objective. Now, in such relationships, there is a high degree of trust, open communication, and extensive information sharing between parties. Now, instead of hiding information, you are very transparent. You share your challenges, your constraints, your goals, okay? And the supplier does the same to you. Both entities actually work towards the common goals, okay? So often engaging in joint problem solving and continuous improvement initiatives. So when problems arise, and they will arise, of course, okay? That will really happen when you're managing a project. Well, you sit down together and ask, how do we fix this? Okay? How do we make this work? So now let us go back to MMGH. The relationship with Tech Health Solutions and Elements had actually the elements of partnership. They were customizing the system together, working through integration issues together, but when the delay happened, what should have been the response if that is really a true partnership? Now, in partnership approach, when Tech Health Solutions said there were unforeseen complexities, now instead of immediately pulling out penalty clauses, MMGH and Tech Health should have sat down together. So they should have asked, what are these complexities? How can we solve them together? Can Metro Manila General Hospital provide more resources or information to help? Can we adjust the project plan jointly to accommodate this? So that is the partnership mindset. We are in this together, we succeed together, and when there are problems, we solve them together. So now, does this mean partnership is always better? Well, not necessarily. It depends on the situation. Let's say, for simple one-time purchases, an adversarial or transactional approach might be fine. But for complex, such as long-term projects like the hospital information implementation, a partnership approach makes more sense. Okay? So, all right, now we have talked about external suppliers like Tech Health Solutions. But there is another type of supplier that's equally important in projects. Okay? So let's talk about internal versus external. All right, so our final learning objective is defining internal and external suppliers. So this is important because when we talk about supply chain, most people immediately think, external vendors like the Tech Health Solutions. But your supply chain also includes people inside your own organization. Okay? So let us start with internal suppliers. Now, internal suppliers are departments or individuals within your own organization that provide necessary resources, services, or information for your project or your operation. So they are actually part of the same company and operate under the same overall management structure. So let us look at the examples on the slide. Okay, focus on the slide. In the MMGH case, who were the internal suppliers? Okay, first, the IT department providing technical support. So Dr. Medina assembled a team of IT professionals from within the hospital. So these IT staff were internal suppliers. So they provided the technical expertise, they handled the integration work, they were the ones testing the system. They are actually part of Metro Manila General Hospital and they are not outsiders. Okay? And the second internal suppliers in that hypothetical scenario is the human resources team assisting with staffing. So now, the case doesn't explicitly mention HR, but think about it. Who helped organize the training sessions? Of course, it's HR. Who managed the scheduling of staff training? Who dealt with the resistance from Dr. Aquino and the other doctors? So likely the HR department. They are the internal suppliers providing staffing support. And the third one is the finance department allocating budgets. So remember Mr. Tan, the finance director? He was actually worried about the budget overruns and the impact on other hospital investments. So the finance department is an internal supplier. So they provide the funding, they track the expenses, they allocate resources to the project. Now, here is the key point at the bottom of the slide. Okay, focus please. These internal suppliers contribute to the project without additional contracts or external negotiations, as they are part of the same organizational ecosystem. Okay, so you do not negotiate a contract with your own finance department, you do not have penalty clauses with your own IT staff, but that doesn't mean managing them is easier. Sometimes it is actually harder because you cannot just enforce a contract. You need to coordinate, communicate, and collaborate across departments. Okay? So let us now look at the external suppliers. So now let us talk about external suppliers, the ones most people think of when they hear supply chain. Okay? So external suppliers are entities outside your organization that provide goods, services, or expertise needed for your project or operations. So these are separate companies or individuals with their own management and business objectives. Now, let's look at the example that we have, the MMGH, okay? So first, our external supplier there is the software vendor providing a specialized application. So that Tech Health Solutions, they are the most obvious external supplier, okay, in the hypothetical scenario. They provided the hospital information system software. So they are a completely separate company with their own goals, their own employees, and their own bottom line. Okay? So the second is a consulting firm offering expert advice. So now the now the hypothetical scenario mentions that they had training sessions. So who conducted those? Likely external training consultants who specialize in HIS implementation, or could be that training consultants is still employed in tech health solutions. Okay, so probably they have their own. Now, the third one is a manufacturing company supplying equipment. So, for the hospital information project, MMGH would actually need hardware, okay, such as the servers, the computers, and the network equipment. So, these would come from external suppliers, separate companies that manufacture and sell these equipment, okay. So here's the key difference, okay? The relationships with external suppliers typically involve formal contracts, negotiations, and potentially more complex logistics and communication channels. So think about it. With Tech Health Solutions, MMGH had to negotiate a contract, what is included, what is not, how much it costs, what the timelines are, what happens if there are delays. So you do not do that with your own IT department, right? Or with your own finance department. With external suppliers, everything needs to be formalized because they are not part of your organization. They have different priorities and different incentives. And communication becomes more complex. So with your internal IT team, you can just walk down the hall and talk to them. With tech health solutions, you need formal communication channels such as meetings, status reports, change requests. So remember the hypothetical scenario mentioned, communication gaps. Well, that is partly because managing external suppliers requires more structured communication. So, to summarize, internal suppliers are your own people, easier to coordinate with, but you cannot use contracts to control them. External suppliers are outside parties. You have contracts with them, but coordination is more complex. And both are critical parts of your supply chain. Okay? So that's it. We have covered all the 5 learning objectives. Now let me quickly recap what we have discussed today. So today we have covered supply chain issues in project management. So we started understanding that every project involves multiple suppliers and partners. And the success of your project depends on how well they all work together. So we actually saw this clearly in our Metro Manila General Hospital hypothetical scenario when Tech Health Solutions failed to deliver on time. So it affected everything. So we discussed how the approach to working with suppliers has evolved from simple purchasing to complex supply chain management. So it is not just about buying anymore, okay? It is about building relationships and managing ongoing collaboration. So we look at different types of relationships and contracts that can exist, and the MMGH Tech Health Solutions relationship showed us that even in partnerships, you need clear contracts that define responsibilities and timelines. We also differentiated between adversarial and partnership approaches. So adversarial is I win, you lose. So it focused on short-term gains and contract enforcement. But with partnership, it is we win together. So it focused on collaboration and joint problem solving. So for complex projects like the HIS implementation, partnership do make sense. Okay? And finally, we define internal and external suppliers. So internal suppliers are your own departments like MMGH IT team, HR, and finance, while the external suppliers are outside like your tech health solutions and your hardware vendors. So both are critical, but you manage them differently. So what is your key takeaway? Well, The key takeaway for today's lesson is your project is only as strong as your weakest supplier. Okay? Whether internal or external, you need to manage these relationships carefully. So good supply chain management can make your project succeed. Poor supply chain management can make it fail. So even if everything else is perfect, okay? So that's it for today's discussion. I'll see you on our next meeting. Have a great day, everyone.